Field reports from the strange. This is Obscura Bureau.
He saw the island first as a ghost pixel on his screen, a green smudge in the black Pacific void where no land should be. The air in his cabin grew thick with the smell of ozone and old salt, as if the sea itself was pressing in through the walls. A low, distorted hum began to vibrate through the hull, a frequency that felt wrong in the bones. Then the map updated, and the pixel was gone, erased as completely as a breath on a mirror. But outside, through the salt-caked glass, a shape now blotted out the stars. His breath hitched, trapped in his throat. This was the coordinates he'd plotted. This was the non-place that had called to him. And as the ship listed toward the black shore, a new sound joined the hum. The wet, sticky scrape of something massive dragging itself from the deep. The digital void had delivered its secret, and it was no longer a mystery on a screen. It was here, in the dark, waiting to be touched. You can chart a course directly to it, watching your vessel creep across the screen toward that precise coordinate. But when you finally arrive at the exact spot, you're met with nothing but a void of frigid, lightless ocean. The air carries the sharp scent of ozone and deep-sea brine, and a damp, clinging cold seeps through your clothes. And something far below, in that absolute darkness, has become aware that you were searching for it. For Leo and Sarah Miller, this was meant to be the adventure of a lifetime. The Pacific stretched before them, a vast, placid mirror under a relentless sun. Salt hung in the warm air, mingling with the scent of sun-bleached wood and diesel. In that moment of perfect stillness, the only sound was the gentle lap of water against the hull, a sound they would soon miss. Leo, the pragmatic engineer, trusted only his instruments and their cold, precise data. Sarah, a marine biologist, trusted the sea's ancient rhythms and the ozone tang of the open water. Their only company was Finn, their loyal husky mix, whose low whine was the first sound to break the heavy stillness. On their 6-month sabbatical from California to Hawaii, the Pacific held more than just miles. Day 17, 300 nautical miles west of Portland. Leo hunched below deck, squinting at his laptop's nautical chart as he zoomed in. The air grew heavy with the scent of ozone and damp wood. His voice was low and urgent as he called out, "Hey, Sar, come look at this." Sarah leaned in, her whisper barely audible over the creaking hull. "What's up? More of your weird radio static?" "No. Look at the chart. According to this, there's an island right here. About 5 square miles. It doesn't appear on any paper charts, but it's clearly marked on 3 separate digital systems. GPS, satellite imagery, even the backup." Sarah squints at the glowing screens, her voice dropping to a whisper. "That's peculiar. An uncharted formation, perhaps?" The air in the navigation room suddenly feels thick, carrying the faint metallic scent of electronics and salt. The data glitch lingered on screen. Not an error, but a presence. Leo's eyes ignited with realization. Or, we could be the first to document a ghost in the machine. The air grew thick with ozone and possibility as he leaned closer. "We're barely off course. Name this anomaly, and history will remember us. Miller's Atoll." Sarah looked from the empty expanse back to Leo's eager face, offering a hesitant smile. "All right, Captain, but if it's just a software bug, you're on dinner duty for a month." The sky thickened to a blue gray, and the sea turned flat and lifeless, like tarnished lead. The first sign wasn't on the horizon. It was in the air, the smell. Not salt and seaweed, but damp earth and the cloying sweetness of rotting blossoms. A putrid metallic odor invaded the air, carrying the scent of decayed sea life and rusted iron. It was the stench of deep water rot, a smell that had no business being this far from any coastline. Leo's fingers trembled as he checked the GPS display, his breath catching in his throat. The island's blip pulsed clearly on the screen, a digital ghost just 2 nautical miles away in the open ocean. Leo scanned the endless horizon through his binoculars, finding only a flat line where water met sky. The air grew heavy with the scent of ozone and salt as Sarah monitored the sonar display. Her voice tightened. "Leo, the seabed. It's showing a sudden sheer rise." Primal dread took hold as the sonar revealed an impossible geological formation rising from the abyss. The digital counter on the GPS ticked down relentlessly. 1 mile, half a mile. It should be breaking the surface right in front of us, like a mountain peak. The air in the cabin grew thick, tasting of salt and ozone. A low, grinding groan vibrated through the hull, deeper than any sea. At precisely 0.1 miles, the boat drifted to a dead stop. They were enveloped by serpentine tendrils of fog that coiled around the vessel. The GPS now showed their blinking icon, superimposed directly over the island's impossible outline. Below, the water stretched into an abyssal blackness, deep, dark, and unnervingly empty. Leo's voice tightened with disbelief. "This is impossible. We're on it. The coordinates are perfect," Sarah pointed, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Look at the water." The water around the boat wasn't clear. It swirled with a murky substance like ash or pollen. Finn barked sharply, his hackles raised as he stared at the empty, ominous sea. The vessel drifted helplessly through the fog, which now glowed with a sickly, phosphorescent light. From the radio speaker came only a wet, gurgling static, a sound disturbingly close to muffled, distant speech. A metallic scent, like ozone and cold iron, seeped into the cabin's damp air. Huddled against the wall, Sarah's voice was a tight whisper of pure urgency. "We need to leave. Now." "This isn't a glitch, Leo. This is wrong." The air grew heavy with the sharp scent of ozone as Leo frantically reset the equipment. The compass needle spun in a frantic, impossible circle, yet the GPS remained locked, coldly insisting they were anchored on solid ground. All systems are insisting. A low, resonant thud vibrated through the hull. Not a scrape, but a deep, internal impact, as if something massive had bumped them from below. Leo, torch in hand, went on deck. The beam cut through the fog, illuminating nothing but swirling mist. First he heard it, a wet, dragging sound on the port side, and then a whisper, impossibly clear and close, filled his ear. It was Sarah's voice, but a cold, metallic scent of ozone told him she was still below deck. The whisper spoke 3 words that coiled in his gut. "Come and see." Leo staggered back inside, his face ashen. Sarah frantically turned the ignition. The engine coughed and died with a wet gasp. The cabin lights dimmed, plunging them into near darkness. In the sudden gloom, the digital chart screen blazed with impossible clarity. The island wasn't gone. The coordinates became a phantom passenger, clinging to their hull like a spectral barnacle. On the digital chart, the cursor began to drift on its own, a ghost in the machine. The screen zoomed in autonomously, the island's pixelated edges sharpening with a dreadful clarity. Then, the coastline itself began to writhe and reconfigure, its geography rewriting in real time. The map's form stabilized into a perfect, intricate coastline, their coastline, with Miller's sailboat rendered as a landmass. Sarah's voice trembled with realization. "It's mapping us. We're the island." The air grew thick with the smell of ozone and damp earth, a tangible dread settling over the cabin. Finn erupted into a frenzy, barking madly at the cabin wall as if confronting an invisible presence. The interior wall weeps. A heavy, metallic scent of grime and rot hangs in the damp air. Above, a slow, grinding drag moves across the roof, something massive shifting its weight. Leo grabbed the flare gun, his knuckles white. "We abandon ship, now." Leo pointed toward the dinghy with a desperate intensity, his voice dropping to an urgent whisper. Sarah recoiled, her voice tight with disbelief as she stared at the battered vessel. "The boat is the target." "It's the coordinates," Leo insisted, the metallic tang of ozone sharpened the damp air. "We have to get off the map." Without another word, they scrambled toward the water, Finn cradled in Leo's arms as a cold dread settled over them all. They lowered the dinghy into the black, pollen-flecked water and saw it. Around their mothership, the water was solidifying. A shimmering, mirror-like skin spread from the hull, capturing the ship's reflection. The liquid sea turned into a glassy replica of the boat, and it was becoming real. The island was manifesting reality, using their sailboat as its template. They paddled frantically, muscles burning, until they were 100 yards out. Leo glanced back. Their vessel was now encased in a ghostly, amber-like shell, a spectral ship frozen in time. Through the hazy shell, 2 dark, humanoid silhouettes stood motionless on the deck, watching. They stood perfectly still, facing the escaping dinghy, their forms swallowed by the unnatural fog. The whisper returned, not to their ears, but inside their skulls. A chorus of static and stolen voices that felt like cold needles. It scraped across their minds with a single, impossible command: stay and be charted. Dawn broke. Their small boat drifted in open, normal, blue sea. The fog, and whatever it held, was gone. The acrid stench had evaporated, leaving only the damp chill of the forest floor. Finn lay motionless, his sleep a heavy, unnatural collapse. Sarah's knuckles were bone white around the GPS, its screen a dead, black eye. It cycled endlessly, hunting for a signal that wasn't there. Leo stared at the empty horizon, his mind hollow. They were retrieved by a container ship 12 hours later. Their account met with silent, skeptical disbelief. Officials dismissed it as stress-induced hallucination, a tragic sinking explained away. The final report coldly lists the wanderlust as simply lost at sea. Leo sat alone in his sparse apartment, the only light coming from an old laptop screen. With a final tap, he entered the coordinates. A metallic, ozone-like smell seemed to seep from the machine. The screen flickered, then resolved into an image. A primal dread took hold as the room's air grew heavy and damp. He was paralyzed, unable to look away from what loaded before him. A digital nautical chart flickers to life on the screen, its cold blue light casting sharp shadows in the room. But Leo understands. Some phantoms don't linger in forgotten rooms. They haunt the data streams, the silent archives, the digital deep. These entities exist in the void between the satellite signal and the receiver's interpretation, a cold, silent purgatory of ones and zeros. The chart centered on the exact coordinates, showing only empty blue ocean. For a moment, there was nothing but that endless blue expanse. Then a shape flickered into existence where their sailboat should have been. It wasn't their vessel anymore, but something else entirely. On the map, a new shape materializes, larger, with the unmistakable blocky silhouette of the container ship that had saved them. It solidifies pixel by pixel, a ghostly presence etching itself into reality. Leo's face goes slack, the color draining from his cheeks. His gaze snaps to the window, searching the dark horizon. Down on the street, a thick, unnatural fog is rolling in, carrying the sickly sweet scent of decaying flowers. It's not just mist. It feels heavy, damp, and clings to the skin like a cold, wet shroud. A low, whispering sound seems to ride the currents of air, almost like words you can't quite make out. You think you escaped, but you gave it a new shape to copy. You brought a piece of it back, so check your maps. Search for the spaces that don't belong. If you ever spot one, do not plot a course toward it, because it is already charting a course for you, a course from which there is no return.